Credo, I don't know what to say right now. This is a far cry from, well, like my basement when we started doing this a long time ago. This is the production value just went skyrocket. I mean, I don't even know what to say right now.
This is it, man. This is why we do it, guys. For all of you out there, we're moving on up. The OG of AWP, Jonathan. This is your first time at the studio, I believe.
Long time listener and first time in the studio. Yeah,
Yes.
Absolutely.
Well, just to bring it up, you work in parts unknown right now, so it's a very far travel to get here all the time for the studio.
Yep.
We've had you interview some talents outside of the show we played, but now we have you in the studio. We have Angry Cooter on special assignment this week, but it's an important time to be a wrestling fan, and it's an important time to be a wrestling fan in this area, in the Hudson Valley, Poughkeepsie specifically. Jonathan, out of everything going on the holiday season, the biggest thing that's happening right now is awesome championship wrestling. Tell us, you've been away for a little bit, but are you excited for wrestling to be right up the street from us again?
Finally, wrestling is back, and it is right here in our backyard. I'm fairly local, but Poughkeepsie has always held a special place in my heart. Obviously, there's so much rich history going on in Poughkeepsie and Poughkeepsie wrestling. And ACW, I am so excited for this show because it's just something different. It's something that we haven't got to see for a while. And the card is stacked, the talent is hungry, and I'm just pumped for it.
No, for sure. Over the next few clips or episodes you guys are going to see from us, we're going to be talking exclusively ACW, Awesome Championship Wrestling, and we're going to break down each match. We're going to talk about it from a fan perspective, just being fans for many years. We're in our 40s now. We're seasoned vets, I guess, of the wrestling fan business. But, so we're going to talk about every match. We're going to break it down for you, especially if you've never been to the MJN Center, if you had never been to the show. This is the inaugural show. So this is the first show for ACW, which makes it even more special and a must not miss. So let's talk about the matches. I think the biggest one coming up right now is for the NWA Junior Heavyweight Championship match. We have Alex Taylor, the current NWA Junior Heavyweight Champion, versus GKM versus Real One, formerly known as Enzo Amore. This started off really special, I think, for this because they first announced it was going to be GKM versus Alex Taylor. Real One called up to WRRV, was talking to the hosts on there, Ryan Roberts and Matthew James show, and he kind of, shouted out because he was the last time I think a Real One was in Poughkeepsie he was a cruiserweight champion. So now I think he inserted himself into this match pretty much. The commissioners, the powers that be at ACW approved it and made this a three-way dance. So this is special. It's not only are we getting an NWA championship match in Poughkeepsie, but it's, I think, the first time this championship has been defended by the NWA in our territory.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you look at these guys, you look at GKM, you look at Alex Taylor, you look at Real One, these three guys are hungry. They are they're still out to prove something. We know Real One, he's, battle tested. He's a master of the microphone. Alex Taylor and GKM are no slouches. And this match in particular for me is one of those that I think it may be a sleeper match. People are going to look at this and there's so many names on this card. There's so much talent. But this one is the one I have my eye on for sure. And like you said, it's very special that this championship is being defended in Poughkeepsie. And this championship actually has such historic roots. I mean, we're talking the 40s.
Dating back to 1945. So It's been around a lot longer, around our parents' age or whatever. So it's been around for a while. Jonathan, so if people unfamiliar with this championship too, I think if you had to relate it to anything, would you say that the NWA Junior Heavyweight Championship is kind of like a cruiserweight title or a light heavyweight champion in the NWA?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that again, that has been historically for the people that can move really quickly or, the idea of a cruiserweight, someone that's not a heavyweight, So I think that that's where it becomes special. But these three people that we're talking about, yes, they can move quickly, but they can also do some damage. And that is really why I'm thinking you got Alex Taylor in there. He's the champion for a reason, but you also have two very hungry people that are coming after that championship. And no one will not want to be the first match that is happening at the MJN Center. someone wants to win that first one to get their name in the history book, and that's what's going to happen on that night in Poughkeepsie. And I just can't wait for it.
No, for sure. And usually as wrestling fans, when we see a card being presented to us, we're kind of like, that's the obvious winner. Oh, it's going to be another whoever win. Looking at this match alone, I have it's anybody could win this match. They're all great talents. One guy, do I have to say, a GKM. I'm not too familiar with GKM. I did some Google research, did some history of trying to see this guy. He's kind of he's a fairly rising star, I would say, the past few years. So he's still freshly new in the business. But I think he's probably one of the most exciting newcomers on the indie scene. I think he's the current ISPW heavyweight champion right now down in Jersey. But he's really athletic and he's very unpredictable. He is the Phoenix GKM. So he's somebody to keep your eye on, especially if you guys have never seen him in the Hudson Valley or the Poughkeepsie area. Wait until you see GKM. You're going to be a fan of him the first time you see him. And
I'm going to say this too. There's something that is unknown in this match and all these other matches. And that unknown is going to be the Poughkeepsie crowd. Very loyal, passionate fans. An ECW crowd, I'll say. There's been so much wrestling history. We're all spoiled with what all has been happening in Poughkeepsie. But, that crowd can change the outcome of a match. You have these three people, I don't know who they're going to go for. And that's going to play a factor in this match and all the other matches. And, I have to say, I've seen Real One eviscerate opponents on the mic before they even got in, and that's going to play a role in this too. Like, if he's able to get into their heads, I don't know what's going to happen.
A Real One is the guy who not only can walk the walk, but he can talk the talk. How you doing? Right? I'm not good at it, but how you doing? Right? I think that's one of the things I first loved about him was how awesome he is on the mic. He's like the Eminem of wrestling promos. Like, I don't want to go against him in a promo. He can pull anything out of anywhere and just kill you on the mic. So if you're going to go for a little promo with a Real One, that's think about that. I probably wouldn't do it. So, but I loved what he was doing a lot later in his WWE career, being that cruiserweight champion, because I feel at that time WWE didn't really have a lot of great, credible cruiserweights who could do kind of like the talk of the talk, right? A lot of them were doing the walk, but they couldn't talk the talk. Putting Enzo in that division, he dominated it. Just being able to do both worlds. He could wrestle, he could talk, he could walk. He did it all. And just having on the mic, I think, is the kind of person you want in your company, on your TV, on your shows, promoting your stuff. This guy knows what to say, how to say it, and then he even knows what to do in the ring, which makes him, one of the top talents, and especially for this championship.
Yeah, and like I said, it's crazy. These three are young, young talent. But to have Real One as a veteran, that's also going to play a part in this match. I don't know what's going to happen at the end of this show. I'm hoping for a lot more ACW, but I'm just saying, this has implications beyond just this show. And if Real One wins, or if Alex Taylor retains, or if GKM gets in and sneaks out a win, that's going to carry with them throughout their career. They're going to be able to say that they won on that night in Poughkeepsie.
Sure. And the fans, too, who aren't too familiar with Alex Taylor, the defending champion right now, he's part of the Southern Six, a stable down in NWA. What I think is really cool about this, because NWA doesn't really come up here. So not only, I think, is it a first time ever that the NWA Jr Heavyweight Championship is being defended, it's in our area. It's being defended at the MJN Center for the first time. Google it. Look it up. I'm pretty sure it's never happened. I mean, for the 40-plus years I've been around going to the wrestling shows, I've never seen the NWA come up here, have a match in Poughkeepsie, let alone defend a championship. So that's history in the making right there.
Yeah, and with Ice Cube and Eazy-E and all the other people from the NWA.
No, not that NWA.
No, not that. Oh, okay. All right. Well, it's still exciting. And there's a lot of talk in professional wrestling these days about forbidden doors and open doors and the doors or whatever. But honestly, this is its own forbidden door. You have NWA, you have TNA, you have a lot of really big independent people that have never really meshed before. And that whole locker room atmosphere is something that we're going to have to look at, because these people aren't going to play well with each other. This is something that, like I said, I keep talking about the implications, but I really think that this mix of talent and this roster is so deep and so hungry that like it's really going to be like our privilege to see what happens at this show.
No, for sure. And anybody who hasn't who've been up in the area, Poughkeepsie, whether you're traveling from a few states away or maybe across the country, the MJN Center, I like to say, is in Poughkeepsie the capital of pro wrestling, only because of its history of the building. And just that area, it's the perfect size building, the perfect size shows from WWE in the past to current what's happening. It's been the perfect place for a lot of wrestling history. There's a lot of things that have happened there. You don't want to miss it. Anything from the Macho Man debuting at the MJN Center. We had the Bret Hart and the Anvil started as the Hart Foundation at the MJN Center. A lot of other things have happened there, guys. You can Google it. You can see the history, the lineage of this place. So it's a special place in our hearts as wrestling fans, and it's a special place to just see a wrestling show. We're not going to a high school gym or whatever. We're going to like the main attraction in our area for a show.
And if you get a chance to see Steve at this show or any other shows, you can ask him about his favorite moment that happened there in the Honky Tonk Man. And I don't even know if we can talk about it anymore. We might get canceled, but you're right about this building. There's something special, and I talked about it earlier how the crowd is going to be very important in this match, but the building itself it's something special when those lights turn on in the MJN Center. And, like I said, I just can't wait to see who walks away with this championship on this night.
I have to address the elephant in the room now because you brought it up. We're on episode 274. If you guys go back to episode like 1, 2, or 3, or 4, I think I brought it up then. Listen, you have those flashback moments as a kid and you'll have like, oh, I remember this. I remember going to this and I just remember this. Listen, I used to go to a lot of WWE shows back then in Poughkeepsie, and I have this moment in my head, and I know it was the Honky Tonk Man versus somebody else in a blue steel cage match. As he was ascending the cage, somebody pulled on his trunks. Maybe it was Jimmy Snuka. I don't know. We'll be able to find what exact match it was. And then we saw some Honky Tonk Man butt cheek. That's all I remember though as a kid. Like I remember somebody grabbing his pants, and I saw some guy's ass. The end. And that's what you get. The important thing, though, Jonathan, is we're making memories and we're making moments at the MJN Center so that one day you can have this flashback of a moment like in pro wrestling here. But at the end of the day, this is the place to be on January 4th. This is ACW.com. Get your tickets. There's limited meet and greets for Matt Riddle, for Nick Nemeth, for Real One, formerly known as Enzo Amore, and Tom Latimer, the NWA champion. I mean, this is the first time you can get your picture with the NWA championship in the Poughkeepsie. So, I mean, why wouldn't you want to do this? Like, we're going to be there. We hope you guys go there, and we'll see you there, guys. Stay tuned. We'll be talking about more matches. Jonathan, though, welcome back. Welcome to the studio.
Yeah, this is great. Thanks for having me.
We ain't just doing this on our own. Beacon Podcasting is behind this. BeaconPodcasting.io. Guys, if you want a podcast just like we're doing here, come out. You don't have to know anything about how to do a podcast because Sal at Beacon Podcasting will take care of you. He's taking care of us, and he's brought AWP back to life. So, guys, if you want a podcast about anything that you do, come to Beacon Podcasting. What would you say, Jonathan? How was your time here?
I mean, Sal's an absolute pro. Everything that we needed is right here. It's idiot proof. I mean, clearly, because I'm here. So come on out to Beacon Podcasting and tell Sal that AWP sent you.
Oh, yeah.